Hello and welcome to English with Vlad podcast. My name is Vlad, and today, guys, we are going to talk about how to build your confidence in English. Let's dive into this important topic and try to discuss what is confidence, okay? How we can build confidence in English and in language learning in general, because that's what many learners struggle with at some point. So, what is confidence in its basic form? In life, confidence isn't about knowing everything and being perfect at all times. It is simply the belief in your own ability to figure things out. It's the comfort of knowing that even if you stumble, even if you fail once, you will be okay. All right? So, what does confidence mean in language learning? Is it just about speaking loudly and fast? No, not at all. Language confidence is broader than that. It's much bigger than that. It is the ability to write an email without second guessing every word. It's the comfort of listening to a native speaker and not panicking if you didn't understand something or if you missed a word. It's also trusting that you can navigate a conversation even when you don't know the exact vocabulary. And I see it very often. I see that a student who figured this out, like there is some kind of moment when things start clicking, yeah? Everything clicks. And this belief in yourself then helps you navigate all kinds of situations, even when you don't fully understand everything in English. But there is a great dilemma. Confidence comes from success. When you successfully order a coffee or have a great chat, you feel confident. But to achieve that success, you need confidence in the first place to open your mouth, right? So it's like a vicious cycle. So, how do we break this cycle? The answer is action and preparation. If you listen to my previous podcast, previous episodes, you might remember this. I talked about how resolving your daily hesitations builds your confidence step by step. We talked about those little doubts, hesitation about how a word is pronounced, a tricky grammar rule, maybe correct collocations or translating words in your head, all of those moments, when resolved, yeah, they build up your confidence. When you stop ignoring those doubts and actually look up the answers, you build a solid foundation. That knowledge turns directly into confidence. And it's, of course, obvious. The opposite is true as well. If you don't resolve those problems, those little questions that pop up in your head when you consume something in English, when you learn English, if you don't resolve those problems, those questions, you actually lose confidence, because those unresolved questions, they add up, and then you have more hesitation. You start doubting more, you pause more mid-conversation. That is why for confidence in English, you have to commit to resolving those little problems, issues, and moments of hesitation. But you see, knowledge isn't enough. You need practical action. So today I want to share my top 5 absolute best most practical tips to improve your confidence in using English in the real world. Before we jump into it, guys, I just wanted to share with you a funny story, something funny. So I heard about this, situation online, but I never thought that it would happen to me. So one day, my student, quite recently, told me that with her daughter, they were in a cafe, and it's an English-speaking country. And when she ordered a drink, the waiter looked at her quite strangely and just basically didn't understand what she meant. So she wanted to order a Coke, but you guessed it right, she mispronounced that word. So she said something else, which is, of course, a different word and has a very different meaning. So, very important. We talked about that with her, and a very simple trick how to remember pronunciation of the word Coke, which is Coca-Cola. It's a short form for Coca-Cola. Just remember it as a joke. Yeah, it's a funny situation. She wanted to order a Coke, but it turned out as a joke. So it's easy to memorize the correct pronunciation of the word Coke, yeah, which is short form of Coca-Cola, right? So these kind of situations and these kind of little associations also can help you build more confidence, because now you know how to pronounce this correctly. All right, let's jump right into the list of 5, yeah? So first tip, you need to prioritize communication over perfection. Don't try to be perfect, just do it. Start communicating in English. Your goal is to get your point across, to make yourself understood, and not to give flawless university lecture, okay? So that's very, very important to keep in mind. If the other person understands you, that is a massive success already. It's a big win. Confident speakers don't let mistakes terrify them. They see mistakes as proof that they are actually trying. And that's what I say to my students every lesson. Mistakes are good. Even though sometimes it's very hard to, truly understand that, but mistakes are good, because that's the sign that you are learning. And if you start correcting those mistakes, that's the way to confidence and fluency, right? So to help you with this, you have to stop translating your native language in your head. Translating makes you slow and it makes you sound unnatural. Instead, focus on learning vocabulary in chunks or phrases. I call them collocations, fixed phrases, basically the way natives speak. That's also a very important point. Tip number 2, climb the exposure ladder. You don't have to start giving a speech to a room of native speakers. That would be the ultimate test of your English. You can build your confidence and your tolerance slowly. First, start by talking to yourself, either in front of the mirror or record yourself speaking. Use your phone. Every phone has a recorder. So just record yourself and start talking to yourself. Then talk to your pets in English, or to a plant if you don't have a pet. Next, try low stakes encounters, like ordering a food or ordering a drink, asking a simple question in a shop. Do something small. And then try to increase the difficulty and have more conversation, longer conversation with someone. So consistent and very short daily practice is way better than one long session a week. Remember what they say, an apple a day keeps a doctor away, but not 7 apples on Sunday, right? I hope you got this metaphor, yeah? Also, try shadowing, repeating audio immediately after a native speaker. You will get comfortable with the rhythm of the language, with pronunciation and intonation in general. In fact, in our community, we have this collection called Gold Standard of English. There, I post quite frequently videos, audios of the best native speakers who have a perfect command of their English. And I usually include a short audio, like a very short one, that you can use for shadowing. You basically have to mock the native speaker, copy everything they say. Tip number 3, record yourself. I already mentioned that in the previous tip, but this might sound scary, but it actually works really well. Record a 1 to 3 minute voice monologue on your phone or any other device, even on your computer. About your day, for example, just recall everything you've done in that day and record it. Then listen back to it. A big part of language anxiety, yeah, is that we simply aren't used to hearing our own voice speaking in a different language. I'm telling you guys, even right now as I'm recording this, I have to re-listen and listen to the recording again, yeah. I do feel some kind of discomfort, but I'm working through it, you see? I keep recording it, and you will see the end of this recording, right? So I will finish it, even though I feel a bit uncomfortable, yeah? So doing this builds familiarity with your English voice. You get more comfortable, more familiar with that English voice of yours, and it helps you identify what you actually need to improve. So record an audio, listen to it, and do this self-reflection. Analyze your speaking. Maybe you would improve the intonation. Maybe you didn't pronounce that word correctly. Or maybe you were speaking too fast, and you will realize that you just have to slow down. And when you do slow down, you have more control over your speaking. All right? So that was tip number 3. Tip number 4, use the I am learning, shield, and survival phrases. Okay? So let me explain what that means. If you are nervous, just tell people, I'm still learning English. Sometimes it sounds more of like an excuse, but it's actually a magic phrase. When you say that, I'm still learning English, it instantly lowers expectations, naturally prompts the other person to speak a bit slower, and turns the listener into a cheerleader who wants to help you. So you basically are not expected to sound great and perfect, but they expect that, oh, okay, you are not too confident, right? So I will speak slower for you, yeah? You can also combine that with survival phrases that you can memorize just word for word, exactly as that phrase is written in your notebook, okay? Memorize them in advance and use them in that particular situation. For example, can you repeat that slowly? Or how do you say something, all right? Or I'm still learning English. That could be one of the phrases, yeah? So having these tools ready gives you control over the conversation. I do that in Georgian as well, you know? I do have certain level of fluency in Georgian, meaning I can explain some things, I understand a lot, but I am still not as confident. So I would learn, like pre-learn in advance, a full phrase for a certain context. Let's say ordering something or asking how much something is, maybe in a shop or in the market. I would pre-learn that, just word for word. And then when the moment comes for me to use that phrase, I just recite it from my memory, and it's a good starter, you know? Then, after that phrase, I will figure it out. But this phrase gives me more confidence and starts things for me, yeah? So, that's the point. When you have these tools ready, it gives you more control, and whatever you do, do not apologize for your language level. Yes, you can say, I'm still learning, but do not apologize. Everyone has to start somewhere. And tip number 5 is the last tip: celebrate the small wins. This is very important. We are often too hard on ourselves. We make mistakes, then we beat ourselves up for making those mistakes. But instead of beating yourself up, you need to reward yourself for even small milestones or wins. This way, you create positive associations with English or with any other language that you are learning. So instead of beating yourself up for making mistakes, try to reward yourself for correcting those mistakes, or reward yourself mentally, right? by attaching a positive feeling to that moment, yeah, when you, for example, look up a word or another time correct your pronunciation, yeah, of that particular word. For example, did you make a successful phone call in English? Okay, celebrate it. Did you understand the joke in English in a movie? Celebrate it. Maybe you were watching some stand-up comedy and you clearly understood the word pun because they usually use some double meaning of words and so on. So be proud of that. Focusing on what you did right instead of what you did wrong will naturally fuel that cycle of positivity and success, and it will give you more confidence. That's what we are talking about here, yeah? About confidence. All right, guys, so these were the tips for improving your confidence. So I want you to commit to applying one of those tips today, okay? Break that cycle, take a little action, and watch your confidence grow. Thank you guys for listening. For those of you who are not part of the community, I strongly encourage you to join our community of English learners. You will find the link to the community somewhere here in the description to this podcast. Thank you again for listening and for your interest in English. I will see you in the next episode.